Welcome back to Spiritual Modalities for a Spiritual Life, another beautiful bonus video. And I'm really excited, as always, to bring another beautiful modality to you. So today we will be breaking down and looking at the two healing modalities of NLP and hypnosis. What are they? Neuro-Linguistic Programming is NLP. And what does that mean? Neuro meaning neurology and linguistic meaning language. So truly is the language of your mind. And hypnosis, we're not talking about the hypnosis, the old hypnosis, where I'm going to turn you into someone at the fair and you're going to be doing something silly up on stage. Although hypnosis today still can solve smoking issues or, for weight loss. But we go deeper in this work today, and we use this modality to dive deeper into those unconscious things that we're not even aware we were thinking. Can't wait to share the work that Sandra and I did years ago, but also this modality. And that is coming up next. Stay watching. Hey, thanks for staying clicked in. I'm going to do a beautiful warm-up to my friend Sandra before we come on with our interview and get you in the frequency and in the energy of the work that we're going to be doing today. So here's my beautiful game. I'm going to put up a beautiful slide of a beautiful room, and all I want you to do is just with your conscious mind, be as mindful as you can and enjoy the scenery. Are you ready? Let's do that together. So enjoy the view. Do you like the room? Is it your taste? Is it not? What do you love about the room? So you're just kind of giving an overall awareness to it. Okay, come back to me now. Beautiful, right? We're going to do a couple more things with this room so I can make a great example and a good layup to the work that Sandra and I will be talking about today. I'm going to put back up the same slide, but this time I'm going to ask you a specific question. And the question is, are you ready? Let's do this. What time does the clock say? Okay, that was easy. Now this is where it gets a little trickier. Are you ready? Without going back and looking at it, close your eyes, and if I said to you, how many plants were in the room? What number would you say? If I said to you, what color was the rug? Better yet, was there a rug? Did you notice there were two tones in the curtains? Can you differentiate the two colors that they were? And what else did you see in the room as you're just closing your eyes, right? Okay, well, let's pull that back up and let you see the results. Okay, so come back to me. This is just an example to get you thinking. As you're watching me talk today on this video, you're just looking at me, but you're seeing what you don't know is that subconscious. You're actually seeing all of it. And if you really close your eyes without knowing, you can even see the titles of my books in my bookshelf. That's what we're talking about today when we're talking about the subconscious. 95% of what comes to us, the law of attraction, is truly those subconscious thoughts, right? So how important is this work? This is really important work. It can shape and make your day, right? So let me bring Sandra on. I'm going to show you a beautiful picture of her. I'm going to read you her bio, and I can't wait to share this work today. Enjoy. Sandra Vesterstien is the founder and CEO of Thrive Learning Collective. And the tagline is, discover the key to your purpose and passion. So Thrive Learning Collective offers certification and personal development in programs such as NLP, life coaching, hypnosis, and Reiki. Her programs serve individuals and businesses through integrative heart-based products and services. Sandra is devoted to guiding people to transform spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, and physically, all the while nurturing the spirit, the mind, and the body connection. Oh, music to my ears. Does that sound great? Sandra and I will be coming up next. Enjoy this interview. So, Sandra, thank you for allowing me to interview you for this beautiful series we're doing on my YouTube channel and in class and on my Facebook with Spiritual Modalities for a Spiritual Life. And I thought of you because I used your spiritual modality years ago, and I really want to get into NLP and hypnosis for my beautiful tribe so that they can uncover and touch your modality. So I know there's so much complexity to it.
Well, great. First of all, thank you for having me.
Awesome.
When we first got on the call together, I thought, here we've come full circle. That we met many, many years ago, and now we're coming back, finding each other again, and both of us have gone through so many changes in life, and realizing how we respond to change really is what makes the difference in our life, right? And so I was really fortunate years ago to say yes to my calling as a personal coach. And I thought it took me forever to say yes to it. And however, now I look back and it was just in perfect timing. Yeah. And part of what my draw is that I've always enjoyed inspiring people to be their best. I mean, I remember being the little girl with our friends, my friends, and, getting them up early to go play tennis and, really being the one that they confided in and felt safe with. So I did this from a very young age. And then when I decided to actually pursue the coaching field, I went to an energy worker, and it's just so bizarre how it just all comes full circle. So when I met you, I had been practicing as a traditional coach, which I believe is more task mastering and conscious coaching. And then when I met you, I had finished my training as an NLP practitioner, master practitioner, and a hypnotherapist. Okay. And it opened the doors for me I just couldn't believe how fast my clients would progress using these techniques.
Segue to get into kind of what NLP is and what hypnosis is, and how, because you got into it at the same time you were learning it, right? And then now you're teaching it. So kind of open up that door for us. What are we talking about when we're saying NLP and hypnosis? And are they the same thing, or are they two different modalities?
Well, okay, so John Grinder and Richard Bandler got together, and they're the co-founders of NLP. And they believed that if you actually processed information like a person that would do something really well, that you too could up your skill level. And what I mean by processing, we're taking all this information in through our senses. And so we have certain thoughts, we have certain feelings, we behave a certain way, we have a certain physiology. And if we actually adopt all of that of a successful person, our chances of really being good at something are greatly enhanced. And so they modeled people like Virginia Satir, Fritz Perls, Milton Erickson. And they found their best of their best. How did they get the results that they did? And how did they do it? Because NLP is always all about the how. We don't care about the why so much. We want to know how. Like if someone comes to me for depression, I want to know how they know they're doing depression. How do they know to get depressed? So anyways, they modeled these various people, took all these wonderful processes, techniques, and now that's how NLP came about. And then when they modeled Milton Erickson, who's considered the best hypnotist of all times, took his techniques and skills and combined them all. So NLP and hypnosis I always think of NLP as my left hand, hypnosis as my right hand. And so the master practitioner, when you get trained in the practitioner, that's the foundational skills of NLP. The master practitioner really enhances your ability to leverage language, the unconscious mind. So, and the practitioner does as well, but it's just at a deeper level. So I can't really separate myself out as an NLP practitioner versus a hypnotist. Got it. It's all blended together.
They are. That's clarity for me. I didn't know that. I wondered how we were going to break this down on our interview today, because I always understood them to be two different modalities, but you're saying they really go together. I love that. So can you tell us what NLP stands for and what it means?
Sure. So NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And it's really about how our mind and our body and language all work together in our physiology. And really, it's kind of like an attitude. It's the study of excellence. It's the ability to actually understand the structure of what we do and how we do it. Okay. And it's about patterns. And so if someone comes to me and they are not living the life they want to live, and they're so depressed, a lot of times people will say, well, I do the law of attraction, the secret and all that kind of stuff. Well, they're doing part of the structure. Okay. They're not doing the other half of the structure. So the structure meaning that what makes up a pattern is our certain thoughts, our certain feelings, our certain behaviors, and our belief system. That's what makes up the structure of what we do and how we do it. Got it. And so if a person isn't getting the results they want, it's just that they're not using the correct pattern.
Okay. So let's go to that. Let's go to some of the basic principles and more of the detail about using these two modalities in your practice.
So we first start out on what you want, and then I find out what's holding them back. Well, how come you don't have that right now? So I find out the structure of what they want, how do they want to think, how do they want to feel, how do they want to behave, and what would be the belief systems they would have to have in order to attain that. And then we get it all well-formed, and I'm like, well, so what's stopping you? How come you're not doing it? And then I find out their current program. Once I get their current program, I compare the two.
What is their current belief system? Their
current program or pattern is the same thing. So I find out their current pattern. And so I can tell you, if I put them on a sheet of paper, the thoughts of the current situation are going to be very different thoughts from the desired situation. The feelings of the current situation, way different than the feelings of the desired situation. How a person behaves in the current situation, night and day in the desired situation. And the belief system of the two
has to be remapped.
They're opposite, because true change, in order for true change to happen, we have to have a belief system that supports the change. Otherwise, it's going to be temporary change. That's why affirmations, great. It's wonderful to talk, speak, positively and all that kind of stuff. But if I went, so for instance, like I work with a lot of women with self-esteem issues. And so if they say, I just don't feel attractive, and, I'm just not good enough, or they have jealousy issues, that kind of stuff. But they're going in the mirror every morning saying, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm healthy. And then there's this little voice in the back of their mind that says, no, you're not. You're not.
Doesn't matter how hard you try, right?
Yeah. Because kind of like the saying, I'm rubber, you're glue, anything you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. So the thing is that when we say those affirmations, number one, we don't have a lot of feelings attached oftentimes. And the feelings are really important to have, because those feelings are our energetic bubble that we put around us, right? That attract all that kind of stuff. So if we don't have that belief system to match it, it's like we're just talking, and then we don't match it with the vibration of the feelings. Doesn't, maybe over time and a lot of muscling it, you can do it. But I'm of the firm belief you don't have to muscle change.
I think that's such a good segue too into giving an example of the work that you and I did together, because it has everything you just said. So, and I think it would be relative for everyone to know the beliefs and stuff. So can we talk about that?
Sure.
If you remember why I came to you, but
I do remember. Well, I'll let you share though.
Yeah. So, and it might be different than what you thought, right? So I remember when I met you, I was in this complete fear pattern, and I had a mantra that everything I love, I lose. And that was my belief. And I just walked that. And you asked me when we worked, why do you believe that? And then so I went on this litany of examples of how many people have passed and children and the whole bit. And you asked me, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to change this belief because I have the fear around this is going to be my self-fulfilling prophecy, that I'm going to spend a whole life of this. So you and I remember my experience with hypnosis was I remember you asking me all these questions, and I remember my hand going up and down, but I remember thinking, why is my hand going up and down? I had no idea. And I remembered you asked me to go back into this life, as you know, when that first belief came, that kind of reinforced it, and I could take you back to the first experience I had with losing my first love and so on. And then you asked me to go deeper back to another life. And we went back, and I uncovered in that life, I had witnessed watching my brother drowned. And I'd gotten into the lake in that life and knew that I knew I was intuitive in that life. I knew that. And I remembered thinking, if I go any further, I'm going to die too. And I should probably run back and get mom and dad. And in that experience through hypnosis, I ran back, got my parents. They lost the child, and it killed all the joy, and I had the burden of the guilt of my child, that brother losing his life, and the parents and the guilt of their grief. And this is the part you don't know. It was 2 days after all that work that you and I did that I was standing on my back deck, and I realized that whole experience really shaped this life, because my life work ended up being helping parents learn how to process grief.
Right.
So it was so life-changing. And my new mantra, thanks to you, so back to the NLP, right? Everything that I love lives on. So I went into your therapy, the work we did, thinking everything I love I lose, and came out with a realization that's shaped my life today, that everything I love lives on. And the fear is over. Such a great success story. So.
Well, and this is a beautiful thing, because when I'm working with someone to develop their outcome that they want, that they would prefer to have, I actually do have them create a mantra of that. So it's really a goal statement, you know. And so when you think of that, there's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system. Its job is to search out evidence to support our beliefs.
And prove it right?
Right. So when we switch that up, now all of a sudden you can start sorting for evidence to see how everything you love lives on. And and then when you think that thought and have that belief, because all a belief is a repetitive thought. That's why it's, you know, affirmations, right? But when you think of it, when our imagination and will match, we're powerful.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So my job is to,
Sandra, I love the breakdown too. You talk about mantras over affirmations, or just a little bit more powerful, because mantra to me, affirmation is something you're trying to obtain. I'm just affirming it. Or a mantra is like, I'm living it.
You own it.
To that will. I love
that.
Love that for our group too.
So. Right. So, and then the thing is too, when you look at that, so when the reason why people find it frustrating to change is because when imagination and will are in conflict, imagination will always win. It always wins. So that's why we can't, like, you know, I know we wanted to talk a little bit about addictions. Well, why can't it just be willpower? You know why it can't just be willpower? Because the imagination for an addict, this is, I find fascinating. I've worked with more people that have had this, their imagination is created if they stop using the drug. They run a movie of how terrible that is. Okay. This is interesting. They have a still photo pretty much of how, when they're using the drug, how wonderful it is. It's not a movie, because if it was a movie, they would work it out all the way to the end, and they would go through withdrawals. They'd see how many people they hurt. Isn't that interesting? So how we represent this in our mind, our imagination, how we've created this is what pulls us to that quitting has to be hard. Or who wants to be a quitter? You know, well, that's kind of a terrible thing to, you know, say. So that's why when we start looking at making healthy choices, putting healthy things in our body, drinking, you know, beverages that really replenish us, you know, stuff like that, we focus on the positive. And you look at that and you think, okay, so if a person knew, you know, that it's their imagination, which is just a story, right?
Right.
It's just a dream. And that isn't any more true than what we're doing right here and now.
Yes.
Because this is our dream right now together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Take us into a little bit of your business if someone works with you. What is that experience like?
As far as the training or my
all of it. Sounds
practice.
Like you do quite a bit. So I just like an opportunity for, my
Sure.
to know what your work is, and then maybe there's somebody in the group who would like to either be trained on NLP or experience it.
Sure. So the foundation of Thrive Learning Collective is the NLP and the hypnosis training.
Got it.
And I am gathering my tribe of complementary practitioners as well, because I really believe that there are so many beautiful modalities out there, so many technologies for healing, yes, that combination is, I think that's the way it's going to be. And this collaboration, this collective collaboration of like higher consciousness and heart-based modalities. And so like this training I have coming up in Sedona is an NLP practitioner, master practitioner training. And then we do online through Zoom, our dream sculpting, which is our coaching platform.
Okay.
The cool thing is on this training, because I live in the mecca of healers, right? I'm having a Tai Chi lady come in, and she's going to do Tai Chi with the group 2 days each week. And then I have a breath work lady coming in. And my final one will be sound healing. Not final, but I'm looking for a sound healer to come in and do sound healing
here on Monday. So,
oh, really?
In sort of my spiritual class, we're going through all these different modalities, and we're being introduced to the modality of sound right here in my own home. So excited. She's got all the bowls and the chimes.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Chakras, yeah. So totally connect to what you're saying. So I love that.
So that's the foundation of what I do. And then I have my private practice. And so I believe that it's great to be a teacher, and I love being a teacher. I believe the best teachers keep their skills up, and they keep an active practice. That's my belief.
That's a great question too, to lead in. How long do people usually or need to work with you? Can people come once and have an experience like I did, or do they typically work with you through time?
Well, I have a couple different ways people work with me. Some people work with me because their back is to the wall and they're in a crisis situation. Some people dream sculpt with me, which is it's about 18 hours of work where I take a person through one area of life, and we actually create this whole plan to achieve their dream. It's beautiful. It's actually really beautiful. I always think of it as the law of attraction on steroids.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And then I have like the relationship rescue program that I do for couples that are contemplating divorce.
Okay.
And as I've been divorced, that I always thought, God, if I would have had a person like me through my divorce, I would have handled my divorce in a whole such different way. So I would say I have more marriages that have healed than not under my belt.
Love that.
Yeah. So it's just teaching people new ways of being, new programs, instead of rehashing the past. I think that when people get stuck living in the past, it's like they're living a post-hypnotic suggestion of pain. And it's kind of like the equivalent to driving your car and just looking in the rearview mirror. You're not ever looking ahead. Yeah. Well, we're going to get in an accident if we do that. So my job is to guide you to create a life of your dreams.
Love that.
And be able to imagine that.
I'm sure you know who Joe Dispenza is, right? A lot of his work, Breaking the Habit of Being You, the placebo effect, it talks about that quite often. You keep wanting a new experience, but yet you get up every day and roll the old film, So I love that.
Yep.
Let's get into, before we kind of wrap up, so time's not an issue, get into hypnosis today compared to what it is. And so my group's experience is Brian Weiss, Dolores Cannon, just that aspect of hypnosis. Today, how has it changed?
Well, it's kind of interesting because you're talking a lot about practitioners that do a lot of past life regression.
Yes.
That was their specialty.
Yes, true.
But in truth, we're always doing hypnosis.
Okay.
I do a lot of conversational change. Hypnosis is a lot about being a master at persuasive languaging skills. And So, I pay attention with the NLP and the hypnosis, because hypnosis is really like a brainwave state, and it's a heightened state of focus. So like right now, you and I are in a trance of connection.
Yes.
There are people that can be in a trance of pain, a trance of betrayal. We're going in and out of trances every day.
I think we're talking and it just feels like it's been 2 minutes, but I think for content, from opening up the door and what is it and stuff, I think we've opened up some pretty good gates, and I'll make the connection. Is there anything that I've missed? Like if you hung up, you went, oh, we never even talked about, is there something I'm missing that you want to make sure we get before we do our rapid fire on you?
I just think that, really, I would say NLP is the owner's manual for the brain or the mind. Our brain is our organ, our mind is out here. So the owner's manual for the mind, and that change is just a thought away.
So can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
I know you've had this recent loss.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to go there for you, but
I'm good.
It's so interesting to me. Here we are. We're 20 years difference, right? Or 15 years that we've met. Got all these skills. We're teaching people how to navigate through their life, and then we go through something.
Mm-hmm.
Does the skills that you've learned and that you teach others allowed you to move through this with grace, or does it kick it all back up and you realize, so if you could kind of just share with me, because that's a personal question I just would love to know. How are you managing your grief?
That is interesting, because I think if I remember correctly, one of the reasons why you came to me is because I had a grief process.
Oh.
And I think that's what we did. I probably have my notes on you still, but I think we might have started out with that. Absolutely. And then I hypnotized you. So I guess what I learned through all this whole process is that I actually take all of these techniques and I use them on myself. And if I can't do them on myself, I find somebody that can do them with me, So I'm a firm believer. There are a lot of people that talk the walk, but not a lot of people that walk the talk. So I do apply this to self. I don't think I could have gotten through all of this without NLP.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
so being consciously aware of, like, I'm in a trance right now. I'm in a trance of despair. I'm in a trance of sadness, whatever. So what I guess I've done through this whole process is that I do have a process for grief. And grief is really about fear of not having the feeling that you have about the person now, or what you had for them. You're not going to have that feeling in the future. Well, I know that intellectually. Yes. So I know that Michael is not here physically. I believe that in life right now, we're like a radio. And most of us are living on AM. However, when we pass on to a different plane, we go to FM. Or, I don't know, some other channel, right?
Satellite.
So, satellite, yeah. Or, that's what I say. It's like we go to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So if I'm on, so let's use that analogy. So if I'm on dial-up and my loved ones that have passed on are on Wi-Fi, I can't get to them on dial-up. And what keeps us on dial-up frequency is our pain, grief, our suffering, despair, heartache, all of that.
All the time.
Yeah, it's a dense energy. And so if we want to move up the ladder in vibration, we need to switch the channel, or we have to go to Wi-Fi. And so, I have a lot of people that say to me, oh, well, I can help you out with this. I'm actually good, because you know what? I'm not resisting it. So there are days that Michael's very clever. He connects to me through a lot of music.
Yeah, love that.
And like some of our favorite songs. And they'll just start playing randomly. I'm like, okay, like on my computer. It's like, all right. So I pay attention to the signs and I cherish them. I think the NLP helped me out a lot. I think the belief that we never really leave, we just change forms. And then the belief that we love people to love, not to be loved.
Yes. Oh.
And so it just freed me up so much. Like, you can just love with this big giant heart of yours and know that that's what makes me be able to connect.
Thank you for sharing that too.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it is your heart and your work, and we get better at what we do when we experience it, right?
This way, even with, grief can be like, think of like parents that are always worried about their child, that something's gonna happen.
That was
Well,
me.
isn't that
it used to be me.
it was rehearsing grief, right?
Yeah.
So when I worked with the shaman, I remember him saying, when we worry about, it's not just our children, like when people say, I'm so worried about you.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't help me because that's on AM or that's on dial-up.
Yeah.
That's not helping me.
I love
what
that.
helps me on Wi-Fi is that you believe in me and you send me love.
Yeah. We did this. We had Irma here a year ago, right? Irma, the hurricane hit. And everyone was my family was so upset that I was down here and, get on a plane and drive this way. And I said, stop seeing me in a rubble pile of, in the water and sea.
Yeah.
See me as being safe. And I just asked my family to do that. And we really were in a bubble in Nokomis. So I love that. Hey, that's a good segue right into, let's wrap up with our rapid fire.
Okay.
Do you know what rapid fire is?
I don't remember what it is, but
good.
Okay.
We're going to have to say these really quick answers to this fun part of this video, which is, what is your favorite movie?
My favorite, Avatar.
Oh, awesome. If you were going to change the world today, the world needs what in order to be changed?
Love.
Love that. We all have pet peeves. Come on, you're no different. What is your pet peeve?
Covertness.
Ooh, explain that.
When people, when people aren't direct, they go through the back door. Just, if someone just says what they, just say it, lay it on me. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be upset. I'd rather them lay it on me and work through it, because I believe anything can be worked through.
Personal quality about yourself that you just love.
That I love people.
Oh, I love that.
I truly love people.
And then last question, so I get to say thank you very much for your time today. What are you doing when you're experiencing joy?
I am just in the present moment. Just the here and now, like right here and now. This is just beautiful. That's joy to me. And that doesn't mean it's absence of sadness.
Yeah.
When I'm in that bubble of just being connected, saying yes to connection, that's joy to me.
Love that. Sandra, such a great way to end our video. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for who you are, the light of
thank you.
And the work that you're doing. And I will make all connections to your work and let everybody introduce you to our group when we do that. So thank you.
Thank you, love.